All right, let's get into it. Today, we're talking about a man named Sir Arthur Cotton. Now, he was a British irrigation engineer, but his work in India was so profound, so life-changing, that he earned a unique title, the Missionary Engineer. You see, he didn't just build canals and dams, he completely reshaped the landscape and, in doing so, changed the lives of millions of people.
Listen to this. This wasn't some nice comment from a colleague. This was an official proclamation from the British government itself. Quote, "Cotton will be honored by millions of families yet unborn." I mean, that's an absolutely incredible statement. It hints at a legacy that goes way beyond just engineering, a legacy that, as you're about to see, is still very much alive today.
To even begin to grasp that legacy, let's start with a number, 2,000 square miles. Just try to picture that. That's the staggering area of land in the Godavari Delta that his most famous project irrigated. A region that was constantly hit by famine was transformed into a fertile, life-giving plain, all because of one man's incredible vision.
So who exactly was this man? How does a young British cadet working for the East India Company end up becoming this almost legendary figure in India? Well, his story starts really early. He was born back in 1803, and get this, he joined the East India Company as a cadet when he was just 15 years old. By 16, he was already a second lieutenant. His early career was this intense mix of formal engineering training and the brutal reality of military campaigns like the First Burmese War. That experience forged him into a really practical, hands-on engineer, exactly the kind of person ready to tackle the massive challenges ahead. And all of that early experience was about to be put to the test. It was all leading up to the project that would define his entire life, the Dallas Worm Barrage. And believe me, for its time, this thing was a true engineering marvel. You have to understand what this area was like before Cotton showed up. The Godavari Delta was a land of brutal extremes. When the river ran low, you had drought and horrific famine. But when the monsoons came and the river swelled, you had these catastrophic floods that wiped everything out. It was just a vicious, endless cycle of misery and economic collapse. This was the problem he was sent to fix. So how do you convince a skeptical British Parliament thousands of miles away to fund a project of this magnitude? Well, Cotton came up with this absolutely brilliant and simple analogy. He told them, the amount of water that flows down the Godavari River in a single day during flood season is equal to the entire annual flow of their very own River Thames. With that one comparison, they suddenly understood the immense power he wanted to harness. So he submitted his report in 1844, and by 1847, construction began. Now think about this. A workforce of 10,000 laborers worked for 7 straight years to build this thing. And remember, this was an era with no modern machinery, no cranes, no bulldozers. This entire engineering wonder was built with sheer human effort, all of it driven by his singular, unwavering vision. But where did that vision, that drive, really come from? It wasn't just about engineering principles or economic benefits. No, to really, truly understand Arthur Cotton, we have to look at his profound spiritual journey. We have to look at the faith that fueled everything he did. The moment that changed everything for him happened in 1826. He's a 22-year-old lieutenant on a ship heading home from the Burmese War. And one night, he's just staring up at this incredible, star-filled sky, and this massive question just hits him. Who made these worlds? He was looking at creation, and for the very first time, he was truly asking about the Creator. And you know how one big question just leads to another? Well, that first one was immediately followed by a second, even more personal one. Okay, if there is a great Creator, has He ever spoken to us? And if He has, what are His words? He suddenly felt this overwhelming, urgent need to know if there was a message from the one who made it all. And for him, in that moment, the answer became crystal clear. The Bible is the Word of God. This realization sent him on a frantic search around the ship for a Bible. His fellow officers were apparently making fun of him, but he didn't care. He found one, and what he read that night would completely redefine the entire course of his life. After that experience, his worldview was profoundly shaped by a book called Christian Devotedness by a missionary. And this one quote basically became his life's motto. Labor hard, spend little, give all, and all to Christ.
This wasn't just a nice idea for him. It was a practical, daily command that he applied to every single thing he did. And you can see this philosophy in everything he did. His compassion for the hungry wasn't just a humanitarian impulse. For him, it was a spiritual conviction. He saw no difference between secular work and spiritual work. Building a barrage to feed people was his service to God. He even paid his workers 2 full days' wages on Saturday so they could actually afford to take Sunday off as a day of rest. His home was constantly open to traveling missionaries. He lived out his faith every single day.
So, all of this brings us to his legacy. A legacy that is celebrated to this very day, but one that also includes a much, much bigger dream that he never got to finish. His impact is, well, it's impossible to miss. The region he saved is still known as the Rice Bowl of India. You can find statues honoring him all across the landscape. The barrage itself is now a tourist destination, and his old home has been preserved as the Cotton Museum. He more than earned his title, the Missionary Engineer, through a lifetime of truly selfless service.
But his vision didn't stop with one river delta. In 1858, he proposed something that was just breathtakingly ambitious. He wanted to interlink all of India's major rivers. He believed this was the ultimate solution to prevent famine across the entire subcontinent, creating this vast network of canals for both irrigation and transportation.
And what's absolutely incredible is that this idea, an idea from over 160 years ago, is still being seriously debated in India today, which leaves us with this really powerful question. Is Sir Arthur Cotton's unfinished dream, linking the rivers, the real answer for modern India's water challenges? It's just a testament to a man whose vision was perhaps centuries ahead of his time.